con nosotros. Gracias, amigo.
We have with Mindi. Actually, she is the former girlfriend of Mr. Elvis. Can you tell us how it feels to be in this festival?
Yes. First of all, I was invited to come to this festival. This is my first time. I have heard about the Elvis Fest, and they are apparently all over the world and all over the country. I had never come out from the time I was dating Elvis, from March of 1975. We dated very off and on, and the last time I saw him was in November of 1976, and then I attended his funeral. And he had asked me at the time in his bedroom at Graceland to never talk about our relationship and never write a book. It was a difficult period in his life at that time, and I promised him that I would never talk about him, write about him, or anything else. So I came out on Facebook about a year and a half ago. Somebody actually put me out there and said, you need to talk to the fans. They want to hear more things about him and new stories. So I did that, and slowly I have been approached by different groups and events, and I was invited to this event, and I'm thrilled to death to be here with wonderful people, and also Mr. Dave Hebler, who was one of Elvis's bodyguards for 7 years, and also one of his karate instructors and masters, along with Mr. Ed Parker. I also took karate from Ed Parker. But when I met Elvis, I was taking a form of Shotokan, whereas Elvis was taking Kempo. So we had a lot in common in that way.
Do you have a message for all the fans of Elvis around the world?
I really do. And the reason I decided to come out publicly is because I had read and heard some things that he would not have been very happy with. Elvis Presley was a very, very loving but very private man. There were a lot of things that have been said that are not true, and unfortunately he is no longer here to defend himself. And there are some very sweet stories that he wouldn't mind being told, and we all love him. And what I want to tell people is that we are the last generation of people that actually knew Elvis. We weren't just around him, but we knew him. We knew him intimately. We knew him very well. I read, the Bible with him. He gave me a ton of spiritual books. I went on tour with him. I was at his home in Graceland, his home in Palm Springs, Las Vegas, and all over. And he was very good to everyone, including myself. And what I want to say is, when we are gone, this last legacy of people, there will be nobody left to talk to. And the women are the youngest that are left, and a lot of the inner circle and the Memphis Mafia are passing away. So I want to say to people, read your books, read between the lines. Perhaps not everything you read might be true. They might be embellished a little bit. But remember Elvis in the way that he lived and not in the way that he passed away. Let's not remember him in the way that he died, but let's raise this man's legacy and let's celebrate his life in the right way.
Tell us a little bit about the book and where the fans they can get it. Is it a website or anything?
Well, I have never written a book. He asked me not to write a book, but I will tell you a couple of phenomenal books that are coming out. One of them is called Blue Suede Shoes, and it's by a friend of mine who took over a year and a half to write this book. It will be out in August. I do have a flyer over there that you might want to take a picture of, and it's wonderful. And then there's another book by Keith Alverson that's coming out, and that will be out in August as well, and that will be a huge book with all the pictures of Elvis on stage, so many of them candid. So I have never written a book. He asked me not to. I honor that. But these two new books will be out, and they're wonderful.